I won't name any names because we need to move on this evening. These are the people who carry on the business of the region and look after our affairs. And for those of you, I know we have quite a few new members here, and just to remind all of you, in the course of today, we went through approximately 37 categories, finalization of old budget, a new budget, and each, not all, but at least 25 or 30 of those categories was submitted an annual report, which is represented in this packet that they all have. The data in this packet you will find available in about a week or so on your PSR regional website. So, some basic stats. Our region encompasses 4 states, primarily in Southern California, with an active Arizona region. It includes approximately 590 members, about 30 clubs. It's larger than any other region in the United States. It's larger than Latin America and other international areas. It produces approximately $300,000 to $400,000 of value in volunteer work, direct funds, and leadership skills to YMCA camps and communities annually. Membership. At this point, we have approximately 590 members, but that remains the same, but we added approximately 38 members, over half, that are under age 50 and younger, which meets our target market for new leadership. Some of those people are in this room today. Yeah, that's good news. In relevance to the U.S. area, Pacific Southwest region represents 34% of the United States Area Council vote for U.S. and international matters. We have 3 active members on the U.S. Area Council and ASD, some of which are here this evening. This is very important because in an expanding world, the United States is shrinking in votes, in its influence on the international level. For example, in 2010, the U.S. area was required to vote on an international proposal to de-emphasize the founding Christian values, and furthermore, vote on whether we should secede from the international organization of those values were deleted. That's a substantial change. The PSR made a swing vote for the United States. As Eldon Thorpe goes into office, following me, in July, Eldon will go to that same U.S. Area Council meeting in St. Louis and have to make those same type of decisions on behalf of all of us here. And we have full confidence that Eldon will continue like he has in all the previous years. We made this region set another historical mark in that we created the biggest opportunity of the website in the U.S. area. It was an experiment. Much of it worked. Our domain name, wisepacksr.org, many of you have logged on to. Out of 25 clubs, 11 are active on the websites, and there'll be more about that later. Can't cover it all now. In terms of the Treasury, that doesn't end until the end of July, as Bruce has covered. And we're $2,600 less in the budget, and in some areas we're over the budget. That will be forwarded to you soon. The convention in Burbank. How many of you here went to the convention in Burbank? Good. How many of you had a good time? Did you think it was relevant and valuable to you and your clubs? Yeah. Good. That was the overall consensus of opinion. Attendance was 150, up 20% over 2010 in an upscale venue with great food and service. There was approximately 180 participants, including the youth flag ceremony, and 3 very relevant YMCA executives who pointed out to us that the YMCA is changing. You have seen with your own eyes that they have changed. They changed their logo and some of their terms and so forth, as most of you have seen. And so they pointed out that we must change with them to make progress. Let's see. Time of fast was 118% over goal. The Alexander Scholarship Fund was 70% to date, but in the top 3 in the United States. In Bulletin Awards, 8 clubs qualified for these awards, which is very substantial for a region our size. And other programs like training and Kids to Camp were equally successful in many areas and challenged in other areas. As your region director, acting on your behalf, I've visited the effect of 26 clubs in several district activities, including the Intermountain District, which includes Tucson and Phoenix, which is hosting our 2012 convention. Is that correct? Tucson is, thank you. I got to give you a warning. If you end up going to Tucson with all these numbers I'm rattling off at you, trying to be quick before Tim gives me the hook. The porters are really nice people as hosts, and some of you have made some interesting comments about my mustache. Not the least of which, there she is, Bernadette, who came up to Cindy on Memorial Day weekend and said, "How can you stand that? You can't even kiss him anymore." Let me tell you something. I ended up at Tombstone at sunset, Tombstone, Arizona, late one afternoon, and swung the doors where they asked me to check in my piece, where Wyatt Earp used to hang out in the infamous OK Corral. I went there to eat and found that the Crystal Palace Saloon looked pretty much the way it did in 1881. The saloon was the same, the floors were the same, the roulette wheels were not on the floor anymore, they were up on the walls, and there's a photograph circulating around with Bill Porter. You notice he's got a mustache. He's an Old West guy. And he and I, with a couple of saloon girls, in front of this exact saloon bar that looks identically the same as it did in the 1880s. The reason why I know is because when I looked at the photograph, there was another photograph taken in 1881, black and white, in the back of our snapshot. And it looks like Bill was in that photograph too. No wonder he looked so happy. Thanks for the great time, but look out for the Twilight Zone. In summary, paper and ink cannot fully explain or do service to the extraordinary legacy of this region and our movement. It really can't fully encompass the work that all of you do and the impact the region has had in going on 65 years, the millions of lives and thousands of these stories of success and endeavors that you all know better than I. This board and cabinet has taken the steps forward to keep up and mentor in a new generation in our movement, of which some of are with us today. The cabinet made the steps to reinvest in itself, the region, the clubs, and the future leaders that are needed now. That's so you can reinvest in our greatest assets. That's you and those who you bring into the organization. To play your values forward, it's in your best interest. These faces need to change. They need to move forward and become mentors for others can take our place. And that's up to you. It's in our best interest. And in closing, thank you sincerely for the honor and privilege of pursuing these goals and endeavors.